Did you know that the man we celebrate for discovering the New World was responsible for some of history's darkest atrocities? Christopher Columbus's voyages weren't just about exploration, they were filled with greed, brutality, and shocking secrets that history books often leave out. Today, we're uncovering the truth behind his expeditions, backed by the latest research that paints a very different picture of this so-called hero. Stick around till the end for a surprising bonus tip that will change the way you see Columbus forever. 1. The truth behind Columbus's voyages. When Columbus set sail in 1492, he wasn't trying to prove the earth was round. That was already well known. His real goal, wealth and power. The Spanish crown had promised him vast rewards, including the title of Admiral of the Ocean Sea, governorship over any new lands, and 10% of all riches found. Columbus was not an explorer in the noble sense. He was a man on a mission to amass wealth at any cost. But what happened when he arrived in the Caribbean? The truth is far darker than the heroic image often taught in schools. 2. Latest research reveals a shocking reality. Let's take a look at some recent studies that have shed new light on Columbus's impact. Study number 1. The DNA evidence of indigenous decline, a 2023 genetic study, published in Nature Communications, analyzed the DNA of modern Caribbean populations. The findings: a catastrophic collapse of indigenous populations following Columbus's arrival. Before 1492, the Taino people flourished, but by the mid-1500s, their numbers had plummeted due to enslavement, violence, and European diseases. This research confirms that Columbus's expeditions directly contributed to one of the earliest instances of mass genocide in the Americas. Study number 2. The Columbus Journals, what he really wrote. A 2022 analysis of Columbus's own journals by historians at the University of Seville reveals that he meticulously recorded his brutal treatment of the indigenous people. He wrote about forcing them into slavery, taking hostages, and punishing resistance with horrific acts of violence. These records contradict the sanitized versions of his voyages, often presented in history books. Study number 3. The economics of slavery and exploitation, a 2021 economic study, published in the Journal of Economic History, uncovered how Columbus's introduction of the encomienda system of forced labor practice led to an economic model that exploited indigenous people and set the stage for centuries of colonization and human suffering. His policies were not just cruel, they were systematically designed to maximize profit at the expense of human lives. 3. The brutality of Columbus. Columbus's first voyage was just the beginning. On his second voyage, he returned with 17 ships, not for peaceful exploration, but for conquest. He enslaved thousands of indigenous people, forcing them to mine for gold under inhumane conditions. Those who failed to meet quotas had their hands cut off. Women and children were taken as sex slaves, a fact detailed in Columbus's own letters to the Spanish monarchy. One Spanish priest, Bartolomé de las Casas, documented these atrocities, describing how entire villages were wiped out. His accounts reveal that Columbus and his men treated indigenous people with unimaginable cruelty, contradicting the myth of Columbus as a benevolent explorer. 4. Columbus's fall from grace. Despite his initial fame, Columbus's actions caught up with him. By 1500, reports of his tyranny had reached Spain. Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand sent an investigator, Francisco de Bobadilla, who arrested Columbus and brought him back to Spain in chains. Though he was later pardoned, he never regained his former power. 5. The legacy of Columbus. Why we still celebrate him. So why do we still celebrate Columbus Day? In the 19th century, Italian immigrants in the US championed Columbus as a symbol of Italian-American pride. In 1937, President Franklin D. Roosevelt officially made Columbus Day a federal holiday, largely due to lobbying by the Catholic organization, the Knights of Columbus. However, in recent decades, many cities and states have begun replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day to acknowledge the true history. Bonus tip: how to recognize historical misinformation. One of the best ways to uncover the truth about history is to look beyond traditional textbooks and explore primary sources and modern research. Next time you hear a simplified version of history, ask, who benefits from this narrative? What do recent studies say? And whose voices have been left out? Christopher Columbus was not the hero many were taught to believe. His voyages were fueled by greed. His actions led to the suffering of countless people, and his legacy has been distorted for centuries. The truth is finally coming to light, and it's up to us to share it. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more history that challenges the myths we've been told. See you next time.